Why do people quit trading? Well, this is a question I've heard a couple times from different people. I kind of just want to give my insight on it. I think it's a multitude of different things that can cause somebody to quit or make somebody choose to quit. There's obviously things like limitations or their life just doesn't allow it, which is understandable. But for the people that have these options, like are able to do it, and they still end up quitting, why is that? Well, number one, the number one thing I can think of is attention span, right? Trading with this newer generation, myself included, everybody's attention span is pretty cooked, right? You got TikTok, Instagram Reels, dopamine everywhere. A lot of people aren't able to just not only just sit with themselves, right? Because trading is psychology and mechanical data collection. But in both those aspects, a lot of people can't sit down with themselves, have no dopamine or anything, and a lot of people can't wait. Nobody has. Some people do, like myself, I do, but I had to create that attention span and discipline, right? A lot of people nowadays, it's very rare to come by somebody with an actual attention span that can sit and be patient for trades to play out, right? Your attention span involves, trades, waiting for trades to play out. Your attention span is your psyche, right? Being able to sit with yourself, being able to have a conversation with yourself or journal or take notes, right? A trader I know doesn't like to journal, right? And I think journaling is super important, not only for data collection but for reflection. But he doesn't like it, and if he doesn't like it, he doesn't like it. That's up to him. You could still be a profitable trader and not journal, but it's going to be harder for the majority of people if you're not journaling and collecting your data that you can reflect back on. Getting better at trading is going to be more of a challenge than if you journal anything really and reflect on it and gather data. Well, you gather data from your journaling, right? And the final thing with attention span I could think of with your trading, your psyche, is discipline, right? Your discipline kind of rides off your attention span, right? Because if you want to be disciplined, you have to have a good attention span. If you want to discipline yourself to wait for setups, right, or journal or take A+ trades, right, it all leads back to attention span, because you're going to need that attention span to wait for that to happen. And if it doesn't happen, you're going to need to be able to take the hit of, I'm not going to get that, rush for today that I'm able to take a trade, right? But when you're disciplined, you don't need that rush, right? When you have a good attention span, you don't need that, because, not only you can get it from a different source, a better source realistically, like going on a run or just getting in sunlight, reading, working on a different project, because trading isn't your whole life. A lot of people need to hear that. I needed to hear that. And that same guy told me that, and it made me realize and reflect, trading isn't my whole life, right? It's a big part of it, yes, and I love it to death, but you gotta have a balance or you're gonna get burnt out. And I got burnt out really bad, and I had to take almost 2 weeks off because my back testing was going to shit, and I couldn't sit still and take a trade, and I was forcing setups and gambling, and I don't want that, because that's not how you're profitable, bro. You can hit a couple gambles, the little full ports, right? But if you want to sustainably do trading as your full-time job, which is the goal for 99% of people, me included, you gotta have a system where you're constantly disciplined and doing the right thing. And you're gonna make mistakes, right? Like I said, we're all human. You're gonna make mistakes, but you gotta be able to be okay with not getting that rush or not, taking a trade. I'm kind of repeating myself here, but another reason I think people quit trading is ego. A lot of people come into trading and they have a big ego. They think that they're the shit, and they think that, oh, this trading shit, this shit's easy, bro. Like, this ain't nothing. And in reality, it's a lot, bro. It's a lot. And if your ego's fucking you up, dog, you're if you can't kill, or not kill your ego, but if you can't control your ego, and learn to work around it, because it's always going to be there, you're going to get fucked in this game, right? That's just plain and simple. You're going to get fucked. And if your ego's high and mighty, you're not going to like that you're getting fucked, and you're going to quit. You're going to give up. You're going to say, it's bullshit. It's gambling. It's, let me think. It's, sorry, I got a new drawing tablet. It's gambling. It's fake. And you're going to make all these excuses, right? Because your ego won't allow you to admit to yourself that, no, you just fucking suck and you need to get better. And I thankfully was able to realize that, because my whole life I've been able to maintain my ego and not let it get the best of me, right? When I was younger, I had no ego, right? I was picked on, right? So that could have went bad. I could have went down a really bad path and had a fucking huge ego because of that, but I went down the right path. And my ego, while I still have problems with it sometimes, these people come in with these huge egos thinking they're going to get rich quick, right? This trading shit's easy. How the fuck do these people that spend years to become profitable? And they get humbled. And people with a big ego don't like to be humbled because it hurts them, because their ego lied to them, right? Deep down, they don't know what they're doing. Their ego is controlling them. So when their ego is telling them to do something, be narcissistic or think that you're the shit, and you get humbled, right? They don't like that, right? Because the ego lied to them, and no one likes to be lied to. So that's the second reason why I think people quit trading. The third reason I think people quit trading, honestly, this is not a super big reason, but strat hopping. I've seen it, I've done it, and it can really kill your progress. It can really take you to a standstill if you can't catch it or you can't realize what you're doing. People will try a strategy, any strategy. All of them work, right? Like my mentor said, they all work, but you have to collect the data for them to make them work, and you have to be able to adapt with that strategy to keep it working, because the market is always adapting, right? The same strategy 10 years ago, the exact same one will not work today, because the market has adapted, right? It's changed. It's learned what, like, I don't know. I'm not Netanyahu, so I don't fucking, or Jerome Powell, so I don't know a whole lot, but I do know the market adapts, and your strategy will not only be 100% bulletproof, but the market will change over time. If you don't change with it, you're going to get left behind. That's simple. That's simply the truth. Now, with strat hopping, people will, like I said, find a strat, they'll back test it, they'll try it for a week or two, and they won't be profitable with it, right? And this goes for a lot of newer people, right? It can happen to seasoned vets, but most of them understand this by now. But for the new ones, and if anyone who's new to trading is watching, first of all, welcome. It's gonna be a long ride, brother, but stick through it, and I promise you'll be worth it. Strat hopping it's a killer, because like I said, any strat can work, right? But you need to collect data on that strat and figure out what works with it, what works, what doesn't work about it, what has been Fortnite terms, what's been patched, right? What exploits are there still there that work, right? And people fail to realize that, and they'll think it's the strategy's fault, and they'll be like, oh, okay, this strategy doesn't work, I'm gonna try a different one, right? And they'll get in this constant cycle of trying different strategies, them not working, or maybe they'll find one and it works, right? It works for a little bit, but then it stops to work, and they're like, oh, I guess it doesn't work anymore, and they'll keep strat hopping, right? Don't put all your eggs in different baskets, right? Or I guess in this sense, you want to put all your eggs in one basket. You want to put all your eggs in one strategy, right? All your eggs, all of them. Here they are, right here. They're weird. All of these, you want to put in one basket. Pretend all of these circles are different strategies, right? People will go put like 2 in one. They'll think, oh, it doesn't work. and then they'll move and they'll put 2, or maybe they'll put 3 in this one. They'll figure out it doesn't work. Oh, maybe 2 in this one. No. 1 in this one. No. 3 in this one. No. And then hopefully eventually they'll realize that, and then they'll put all their eggs in one basket. Data collection, reflecting, journaling, studying, adapting, right? And all of these will culminate into a strategy that works. It's that simple, man. So that's a really big killer. Next, what do we got? Oh, sorry. What is another thing that makes people quit trading? I think it's analysis. I don't know if I spelled that right. Oh my God. Jesus. Analysis paralysis / consuming. What do I mean by that? What do you mean by that, OB? Consuming? What do you mean? What do you mean? I'll explain you, young Padawans, because I was once this guy. I was once the consumer. Okay. We'll start with analysis paralysis, right? What is analysis paralysis? It can be in every stage of your trading career, but we're going to focus on the start, right? You just get into trading. Your buddy's like, yo, trading, it's dope. Check it out. You're like, okay. So you go watching YouTube videos. You go watch 10 different videos, what day trading is, how to get into it, what are strategies, basic terminology, right? And your brain gets overwhelmed by this. All this analysis of all these different sources and information is paralyzing you to not take action and not take a move, right? Taking action is the biggest thing. It's the biggest player if you want to be successful in trading. Start any day. You need to take action, right? So if you're paralyzed by all this analysis at the start, all this information, you're gonna most likely not take action. Maybe it's because you're scared, maybe overwhelmed, or maybe you're confused, right? Do you think that, for example, LeBron James, you love him, king, right? I'll even draw him a little crown. Do you think LeBron James you would think, right? You don't think when he started basketball he was scared, nervous, maybe overwhelmed by all the terminology or the training, or he was confused on what certain things were? Well, fucking for sure he was. 100% he was, right? But he took action. He didn't get analysis paralysis. He fought through it. He was like, fuck this. I got all this information. I gotta do something with it. I need to take action. And that's what he did. He took action, and now look at him. And I'm not gonna make this into a take action video because I've already done that. So I'm just gonna move past take action. You guys get the gist, right? You get paralyzed by all the information, and it's not even at the start too. It could be with your own strategy, overanalyzing confluences and getting paralyzed when trying to take trades, overthinking about them. But that's a whole different story. Consuming. This kind of comes with analysis, right? Consuming content, right? TGR says it in edutainment, right? You watch all these different YouTube videos, all these videos of your favorite trading YouTubers. I just full ported FOMC. That's great, right? It's great to enjoy content. Right? There's nothing wrong with enjoying content. But when you're overindulging yourself in content and not putting in the fucking work to be a day trader, but instead you're enjoying these entertainers that have been through the shit and are profitable traders, and they make content about it now, right? That's what the route of a lot of different traders do. I guess myself included, but I'm doing this channel more as like something I can look back on for myself if I'm ever lost, or when I'm profitable and when I'm older, I can look back on this and think fondly of the things I'm telling you guys, because I want to help people get into the space, man, because I love it. So why I want to share this love for this passion I have with other people, right? Besides the point. When you're over consuming content, you get comfortable consuming, and you start fantasizing the idea of trading, not doing trading, the idea of it, the cars, the money, the girls, the lifestyle, right? Oh, it's all lavish and awesome. Oh my god. Newsflash, you're not going to get fuck all of that if you don't take action, and that's blank, right? You're not going to get that if you just consume and consume and consume and consume and don't take action. Really? Everything comes back to take action, man. Like, that's the best piece of advice I could give to somebody. Psych, and just trading in general wise, man. You gotta take action, bro. So if you're over consuming this content, people over consuming the content, eventually they'll want to move on, they'll get bored, and if they haven't taken action by then, they quit. Halfway through, they probably have given up on the idea of even trying to trade. One more. Why do people quit trading? Let me think. Well, attention span, yes. Ego, yeah. Strat hopping, yes. Analysis paralysis, yeah. I would say overthinking, but that's kind of analysis paralysis, right? It's a part of that. I would say telling people you trade. Telling others you trade. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, what's wrong with telling other people I trade? It's something I'm passionate about. I want to, tell people about it. I want to explain my ideas and thoughts to people. And, that's great on paper, right? But when you tell other people that you do this and the goals you have, right, you may not notice it, but slowly a pressure builds. A pressure to be successful and not disappoint, right? You don't want to disappoint your peers, do you? Most of you? You don't. I don't. Why would I want to disappoint somebody? I want them to see me flourishing. But when you tell people your dreams, honestly in general, but with trading, you tell people you trade, and you tell people your dreams, there's a pressure that rises in you, and you may not notice it until it's too late to perform great. And that sounds great, right? Oh yeah, the pressure to perform great? Hell yeah, it sounds like discipline. Not that type of pressure. A pressure that if you make any mistakes, these things are going to be flying through your brain, right? Every day you're going to have the pressure to be successful and not disappoint people. And that's going to fuck up your trading and psychology tenfold. You don't want that pressure on you. You want to work on it. Not tell anybody. You want to work on it and let people find out naturally by your success that you're doing this. And I struggled with that. I told people that I started doing this, and they would shit on me, bro. They would shit on me and why I did it, and they would spit bullshit. And I know anybody in life has dealt with this. When you think your homies are, if you tell them your dream or what you want to do, if that homie starts shitting on that and says you're never going to do that, you're not going to be successful, that's not your real homie, bro. You might think it is, but that's not your real homie. You know what a real homie is? Somebody who entertains that idea without overstimulating you and be asking you a gazillion questions about it. Oh, can you make me money? No, shut the fuck up. But if a homie's like, hell yeah, bro, that's an awesome dream. I believe in you. Go get it. You don't have that. You might have that pressure to not disappoint them, but that could be used as fuel to not give up, right? But when you got those, and same with those people hating, I use that to get a good start going, but whatever. Telling people that you trade it can be a real killer. Even your parents, man. I told my parents, and I'm thankful that they don't pressure me and ask me how much money did you make? Are you successful yet? But I also have the fuel that I don't want to disappoint my parents, propping me up when times are low. And I think back on that, I'm like, no, I'm not going to let that slide. I would never forgive myself. The only person, in my opinion, that you should not want to disappoint in life is your future self, right? Think about your future self and think about how disappointed they would be with you. If they know that the life you could be living if you didn't give up and you chose to give up, right? And chose comfort, you will never forgive yourself. You'll never forgive yourself. And you might have things in your life that you didn't take action on, and at this point in time, don't forgive yourself for not taking action and doing those things. You'll never forgive yourself, bro. And the last person you want to disrespect is yourself, because in reality, that's all you got, man. You only got yourself. Sure, you got your family, you got your friends, but when it all boils down and when everything's taken away from you, all you have is yourself. That's my piece, man. Other than that, I think trading's amazing. I encourage anybody to look into it and get into it. I think it can be an amazing experience, and it could bring you so much joy. It's unremarkable how much joy trading has brought me and how much it's helped me in just my life in general, man. I've made so many good decisions. I've fully done a 180 from the path I was going down because of trading. I don't want to be corny, but in a sense, trading has saved my life. And I'm going to keep trading. And I'm going to keep doing what I do. And I'm going to keep being disciplined until I'm profitable, living the life that my future self is going to be living. Stay up, boys. Don't give up. When times are hard, that's when the most progress is made. You reinforce the idea that you won't give up in your brain. Never give up. I love and appreciate all of y'all. Take this shit to heart. Peace.